Hello soul friends, welcome back to another Conversations with Kristin, that miraculous part of your day where you explore human consciousness from the inside out. I'm here frolicking and it is so beautiful. Check this out. Just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. So I want to share some incredibly powerful, transformative healing journey knowledge with you guys, okay? This is game changer kind of stuff, okay? So stick with me. So every thought and feeling, every perception, every idea, every urge, every impulse, every emotion is coming from our subconscious, okay? And our subconscious is comprised of 5 key components, according to my miraculous inner being diagram of consciousness, a diagram I've created from scratch that explains, explores, and empowers human consciousness from the inside out, using brand new language, brand new concepts. You won't find this information anywhere else in the world. It came from my brain. It came from my brain, my consciousness. It came from my consciousness. So there's 5 key components to our subconscious realms. Subconscious parts, belief systems, attachments and memory systems, and stimulus-dependent activation of neural networks. I'm going to talk about some of these in other videos, so feel free to check those out. So we got these 5 key components in our subconscious realms, and all of our thoughts and feelings are coming from our subconscious. Here's the thing though. We have our neurophysiology, which is our brain and body system and the wiring that's housed within. And then we have our consciousness, which is the energetic life force that lives inside of our brain body system, who's having the experience of being a person. And these are 2 separate aspects who have an intimate relationship with one another. So our consciousness is not the same as our neurophysiology, and our neurophysiology is not the same as our consciousness, but they do have a very close relationship. They're very intimately entwined. They interact with each other nonstop. So within our subconscious realms, there are those 5 key aspects, right? 4 of them are neurophysiology. Only one of those aspects is pure consciousness. And so when I talk about befriending consciousness, it's about befriending our subconscious parts. We can befriend our neurophysiology too, absolutely. But we are not our neurophysiology. We are not our memories. We are not our belief systems. We are not defined by any of these things. The consciousness is much more about who we are. Our consciousness is much more intimately associated with identity, where neurophysiology is much more closely connected with experience. And identity and experience are not the same thing. They're not synonymous. They're not the same thing, okay? So when thoughts and feelings are arising, when ideas are arising, when worries are arising, when reactions are arising, when any of these things are coming up, they're coming from our neurophysiology within our subconscious realms. So if I'm having a worry about something, or if I'm having an irritable moment of anger regarding something, or if I'm having an idea about something that I should do, or if I'm having a thought that creates a story or a conclusion or a judgment about literally anything, that's something in my neurophysiological subconscious being activated. It's not coming from my consciousness, it's coming from my neurophysiology. Subconscious parts, who are at the core of our consciousness, not the core of our neurophysiology, the core of our consciousness. Subconscious parts are pure love. That's who they are. That's their only focus in life. That's what sculpts them into existence. That's related to their superpowers. That's who they are. They are pure love. Subconscious parts are pure love. So if there's anything that's coming up in our thoughts or feelings or perceptual awareness or anything that's not based in pure love, it's coming from our neurophysiology, which means it's coming from a memory. It's coming from an aspect of our attachment development. It's coming from our belief system. And it's coming from, or it's coming through, stimulus-dependent activation of neural networks. So something internally or externally is activating the memory, attachment, or belief system in a particular way that's creating this thought or feeling. So we are not our thoughts and feelings, and it's important to create space to unblend or create distinction or a space or a gap between our identity and our experience. Because we are not defined by our neurophysiology. We are not defined by our thoughts, feelings, or experiences, but we don't automatically know that. If I feel worried about something, it's going to feel like a genuine present tense worry. It's only when I dive deep into creating space between identity and experience, practice being an objective observer and conscious responder, that I'm able to notice the worry without becoming it, and then be like, oh, wait a second. This worry is not coming from my consciousness, which means it's coming from my neurophysiology, which means it might not actually have anything to do with right now. Because think about it. If a worry is coming from the activation of a memory system, then it's a worry about something that happened before. It's not a worry about something that's happening now. If a certain feeling is coming from a particular activation of attachment development, that means that it has to do with the way that those wires in your brain were wired maybe 20, 30 years ago, and it might not have anything to do with what's happening right now. And so this is one of many, many reasons why presence is power. Because when we're fully present, then all of these activations of things in the past, they can't touch us. We might notice them, they might come up for sure, but they can't touch us because there's space between identity and experience. We're present right here, right now with what's happening here. And so when stuff gets activated, we notice it and we let it go because it's not about right now. And so this is really important because the worries and the feelings and the fears and the ideas and the judgments and the stories and the impulses and all of these things, they will always feel present tense. It doesn't mean that they are. Just because we're experiencing them right here, right now, doesn't mean they have anything to do with the present moment. A lot of times it's just our brain being activated in a particular way that's activating an attachment and activating a memory system, and it's activating a belief system, and our neural networks are producing a particular type of thought and feeling. But it's not actually about what's happening right here and now. And it's not about who we are, ever, because we are not our experiences. We are not defined by the way our attachments have developed. We are not defined by our experiences or our memory systems. We are not defined by our belief systems. Those are all things that are wired into our brain and body that we have the power to reprogram. But in the process of changing that, we have to make sure that we're not identifying with it. So practice being an objective observer in your consciousness. When these things are coming up, notice them, but don't become them. It takes practice, which is why practice is another aspect of personal power. And personal power is a concept that I've created from scratch. There's 10 attributes to it, and they can all be harnessed through intention and attention. Energetic, directional, conscious focus of our energy is power. So practice is power, presence is power. Practice being an objective observer, because all of the thoughts and feels and worries and conclusions, if you wake up and you have a negative thought towards yourself, that has absolutely nothing to do with right here, right now. It's just your subconscious realms in relation to your neurophysiology being activated in a particular way. And if you can simplify it to yourself like that, this is not who I am, this is my brain being activated in a particular way, but it's not who I am, and it's not the truth of right here, right now, I will not agree with this thought. You have a lot of power in that space. Because if you're having intrusive thoughts or racing thoughts or all these thought forms that are like, you're not worth it, you shouldn't even bother, what are you doing, your existence is pointless. If you're having these kinds of thoughts, they have nothing to do with who you are. They have nothing to do with the present moment. They have to do with a wounded part of your neurophysiology. And you cannot heal yourself or heal these internal wounds if you are becoming them, if you're over-identifying with them, if your identity and your experience have no separation from one another. So keep this in mind. Every thought, every feeling that's being generated, if it's not based in unconditional self-love, it's coming from your neurophysiology. It's coming from the brain-body wiring inside of you that's completely based in experience, which we don't have control of a lot of the time. Definitely don't have control of the experience of attachments, you know? So when there's stuff coming up, practice noticing it. And remember that it's about your brain's wiring, not about the present moment. If you're feeling worried about something, it's because of something that happened before. It's not because of right now. It doesn't matter how valid or real the worry seems. You're allowed to, be responsible and do the things you gotta do in your day. But when you're feeling worry, as one of infinite examples, the worry is coming from an activation based on a past experience. The real you isn't worried. The real you isn't afraid. The real you doesn't judge. The real you isn't angry. The real you is peace and joy and love. Healing is not about changing who you are. It's about becoming more of who you truly are. It's about liberating subconscious parts. It's about liberating consciousness. You can't liberate consciousness if you're assuming that your identity is based in your neurophysiology. There's no liberation there. There's no freedom. There's no power. So please remember this. When there's stuff coming up, it's coming from activation of your brain wiring based in past experiences. It doesn't have anything to do with right now. And you are not what you feel, you are not what you think, and you are not what you have gone through. You are not the wiring of your neurophysiology. I love you guys. I hope this content is helpful. These concepts are really, really powerfully transformative. And when they're embraced, life completely changes. So please embrace it, because you deserve a life that feels really good. You deserve to live in a consciousness that feels really incredible. You deserve it. And if you're ever looking for healing journey guidance or empowerment or assistance or anything, I would love to offer my services to you. I offer consciousness consulting services where we get together on a call and share sacred healing space, and I walk you through a process of exploring your consciousness from the inside out so you can understand what's going on better and how to respond to yourself. What you can do to harness your power, what you can do to transform your life, what you can do to reclaim your power, to cultivate deeper self-love and be a friend to your consciousness. Meeting yourself exactly where you are, exactly as you are, exactly how you are. Providing insights that make sense to you. And then creating a tangible plan of action that you can actually do. Nothing that overwhelms you, nothing that feels dreadful or impossible. Something that feels and sounds good and something you can really do every day to reclaim your power. You can email me to schedule your consciousness consulting call at artistryofexistence@gmail.com, or you can check out my links below for some more information. I also offer healing journey products, including a Restoring Consciousness Toolkit, guided meditation collection, and coming soon, Healing into Happiness playbook. So please explore my web pages for more information about these offerings. They are all really powerful. So if you're looking for that tool to be a catalyst to deep healing, deep friendship with your own being, deep loving empowerment, please do check these out. They are really, really, really magics. Really many magics. Many transformatively, powerfully healing magics. So I love you. I hope you have a beautiful and blessed day. I believe in you. The best is yet to come, and we've only just begun. This is only the start. So let today be the first day of the rest of your life. How do you want to live your life with your consciousness? How do you want to love yourself? How powerful do you want to feel? I dare you to answer these questions. I love you so much. I'll see you next time.